The following podcast may contain adult language and an abundance of salt. So get ready for a kill-tacular episode because we're talking Halo. Welcome, everybody, and thank you for joining us on this episode of the Salty Nerd Podcast, the best comedy podcast on the internet, where you can watch us on YouTube or check us out on Spotify and iTunes. I am joined by my fantastic panel of nerds. MattVader's here. What's up, dude?
Hi.
How you doing?
I'm good.
Yeah?
I'm gonna go play some games later.
Not Halo?
I have the new game, the one you can play for
Infinite?
free.
Yeah?
I have it's like the arena game or whatever, right? The Battle Royale version.
Oh, okay.
I'm terrible. I get on there and 12-year-olds swear at me. It's like, fuck you, old man. Get out of here.
What's his name from Thor? Noob Master 69 or something like that?
It's just like, I can't do it.
Jude is also here.
Hello.
Welcome. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Do you have any history with Halo at all?
None.
Wow, man. Okay. And Matthew Kadish. Welcome, sir.
Yeah, I'm an old school Halo fan. I remember when we got our Xbox in college, the Halo was one of those games that we played into the wee hours of the morning instead of doing our homework. And I quit after Halo 3. I haven't played anything past Halo 3. So it was interesting, kind of like taking my history with Halo and watching this show and seeing the differences there.
I've played every single game multiple times, all the way through. I've read a couple of the books. The first game I played, it was on PC. I had it on my PC. I remember playing the cartographer mission like over and over again because it was just such a blast. Like Combat Evolved was a freaking big thing for me. Cool. Really fun. Growing up, Halo's always been there. Master Chief is my boy.
I'm coming at this as such a noob. I don't know anything about it.
I'm kind of envious of you because I'm watching this and I'm like, what the hell are they doing to this show?
I know there's a lot of problems, but I don't see them.
This is going to be your foundation.
Well, I don't know. I don't know yet.
Okay.
Because I can't say that they're just making shit up because a lot of the plot lines in this show are like just pulled from different areas and different timelines and they're all just kind of like smushing them all together.
Okay.
So it's not completely bullshit, but it's just weird that they're choosing to do it.
It's not like a straight adaptation of the video games. Basically, like in a weird way, this is almost like a prequel to the first game in a sense. But at the same time, they've made it clear that they're not following the lore of the games, where they may, take bits and pieces from the Halo lore and pepper it within their story, but they're doing like their own unique story.
Yeah.
Question.
That's so risky.
Yeah, it is.
I feel like I should have asked you this before we started recording, but is this the game that my friend's husband was a programmer for?
Yes.
Oh, cool.
Well,
okay.
he was on Halo 5.
Okay.
Which is the one nobody likes.
Okay. I remember when we
fair.
went to brunch and you were like freaking out about the game that he was working on.
Well, when you introduced me to your friend's husband, he had just moved from 343 to, was it Riot, who does League of Legends? And so he was like, yeah, I worked on, the Halo game. And at the time they had just released the beta of the multiplayer and I'd been watching Twitch and YouTube on it. And I was like, oh man, I started talking to him about all that stuff. And he was just like, yeah. Because he knew what a disaster that game was. I'm sitting here like, oh man, I love Halo.
By far, the first 3 games are the best of the games. I'm enjoying the newest one that came out, Halo Infinite. I'm having a blast. I'm like halfway through it right now, and it's like a walk down memory lane. A lot of it.
Okay.
They went back a little bit and kind of like reset the world, but. Yeah. Okay, guys. So we're going to talk about the new Halo TV show on Paramount Plus. Thank you guys for joining us. Heavy spoilers. If you haven't seen it, go watch it and then you come back and check it out. I know everybody else has already put out their reviews, but we're fashionably late, like always.
Yeah. And we're going to add some interesting perspectives to it that the other people who just say it sucks.
We're going to throw salt at it.
No, we're not. Yeah.
So I have zero history with this. I'm not a person who plays games.
Right.
I don't play any. So I'm very interested to get like y'all's take on it because I have no perspective at all.
Okay.
Automatically, I'm like, oh, this is going to be like foundation for him, like it was for me. So like evil Jude is
one thing,
tapping her fingers together.
One thing that I have a massive problem with in this show. The rest of it, I can kind of like, okay, I kind of see where they're going. But anyway, so for those of you who are new to this channel, if you're just hopping in because you love Halo and you want to see some reviews of it, what we do is we break down the entire show scene by scene. Matthew Kadish has a synopsis over there. We go each section of the show. We talk about what we like, what we don't like, and we dive into whether or not we think it's worthy of the Halo name that's been around for decades now. And we're going to have a good time talking about it. We're not just going to throw hate at it. I think there's a lot of things that are worthy of being praised, a lot of things they did right. There's also a couple of things I'm really worried about as a longtime fan of Halo that I don't know if they're going to be able to pull it off. So before we dive into the heavy spoilers of this episode, we're going to take a quick break and have a little drinky drink, and we'll be right back and talk about Halo. Stay tuned. Welcome back, everybody. Hey, if you want to support the podcast and download an awesome free mobile game, go to saltynerd.com/DC and download Dragon Champions. There you can join our guild where we have a little rivalry going on. Matthew Kadish over here is like top tier level 80, and MattVader over here just reached level 60. So what we're going to do...
But there's no rivalry.
Oh, there's a rivalry.
He won't even join our guild. We're not worthy.
You're not part of the Salty Nerd Guild?
I'm in an elite guild at the top of the game, and I don't want to drop myself down.
Oh!
Hey, I need to do my raids and get my dailies in, man.
Self-burn. All right, guys. So we have a Salty Nerd Podcast Guild and Dragon Champions.
If you get tired of Kadish's shit, you can come join our guild and not have to deal with Kadish.
And if you're level 80, then you can go challenge him and knock him off his pedestal.
Yeah. Right.
That'd be great. We would love that. So head over. Dragon Champions it's a fun mobile game where you get a kind of hero collector game where you guys get to grab your heroes, upgrade them, you spend your cash. If you type in Salty in the promo code area, you guys get a leg up. You get some extra stuff, an extra character, and some fun things to kind of jumpstart the game for you.
Free stuff.
Free stuff is always good. But like I said, MattVader over here has been working his way up. He's at level 60 already. I'm at puny little level 14. So head over there and join our guild and have a blast. It's a fun game. It's free. There's no charge whatsoever. Yeah, head over there and grab it.
Yeah, and we're trying to get 10 people to join the guild. 10 new people.
10 new people. I was going to say, we have quite a few people in there right now. Shout out to JT who set up the guild.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into Halo. Take it away, Matthew Kadish.
All right. So real quick, I just kind of want to cover the development history of this show because it was a long and windy road. Halo Combat Evolved came out in 2000, 2001, something like that.
Yeah, a long time ago.
Yeah. And when it was a huge hit, Microsoft basically decided to kind of like base its entire gaming division around Halo, and Master Chief became like the mascot for the Xbox One, stuff like that. Or I should just say the Xbox. And basically they decided that they were going to take the property to Hollywood and get them to adapt it into a movie and turn it into like a big massive franchise.
Resident Evil.
Which as Halo fans, don't you put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby. God, if P.W.S. Anderson makes a Halo movie, I'm going to lose my shit.
Turns out he's a writer on this.
Yeah, I know, right? As a Halo fan, we've been begging for a movie or something to come out for forever. And I remember I've heard rumors from Peter Jackson was involved to Steven Spielberg, every big A-list director out there has been slightly attached to the Halo franchise over the years. And we're always when are they going to finally put it out?
And it's amazing that this show actually ever got made. Once you hear the backstory behind it, because basically Microsoft sat down, they paid a screenwriter to write a script for it. And then they had a bunch of people dress up as Master Chief and hand deliver the script to studio heads back in 2005. And they basically waited outside the offices as the people read the scripts. And Microsoft was it was deal or no deal. Either you read the script and you want to work with us or you don't. And this is a multi-million-dollar property. And the only and basically Microsoft laid down all the terms of the deal. They're you're going to give us this if you want this.
Yeah.
And every studio was go fuck yourself. except for 20th Century Fox.
Microsoft went to Universal Studios, and I think it was 20th Century Fox, and they were Microsoft was on a weird power trip.
What kind of stuff were they asking for?
So they were asking for 15% of the gross. They weren't willing to give up any of the merchandising rights. They weren't there was all these things that Microsoft was just demanding. And the only studio that said yes was 20th Century Fox. And then once 20th Century Fox started going through the fine details of the deal, they're this doesn't look too good. And so they brought on Universal Studios to be a co-financier. And basically Universal was going to release the Halo movie domestically, and Fox would handle the international release, kind of like how they did with Titanic with Paramount and Fox. But at the time, so like they agreed to co-finance the Halo film, and Peter Jackson, who was coming off Lord of the Rings, was attached to produce it, and he brought on this at the time unknown film director named Neil Blomkamp to direct it. And basically right before the first payment was due, because they started pre-production on it, right before the first payment was due, Universal Studios called in Peter Jackson, and they're like, yeah, all the money you're getting on the back end, we want you to drop that down by like half, because the numbers just aren't working out with all of Microsoft's demands. And Peter Jackson was like, no, fuck that. And so basically
Microsoft was like, we want a brandy snifter full of chocolate M&Ms, not M&Ms. Yeah. I have a question.
Yeah.
So was this originally supposed to be a movie, not a series?
Yeah, it was supposed to be like a big like franchise movie type thing.
Oh, okay.
And basically once they started saying like to Peter Jackson, hey, like we want you to take less money, Peter Jackson backed out of the film, and Neil Blomkamp ended up moving on, and basically the whole thing fell apart. And then Xbox released the Xbox One, and with the Xbox One, they were trying to position it as like a home entertainment center as opposed to like a gaming device. And so like they created their own like content creation studio. It was called Xbox Entertainment Studios or something like that. And they teamed up with Steven Spielberg, who at the time had just sold DreamWorks to Paramount, and he was kind of running his own Amblin studio as like his own personal production company. And so they teamed up with him in order to turn it into a TV series. Because originally, like they were looking at Halo as possibly like a big franchise for DreamWorks before it got sold. And Spielberg came on and he's like, okay, yeah, I'll produce this in association with Microsoft. And then Microsoft's Xbox One kind of like belly flopped. People didn't really like it. And so they repositioned it as a gaming console instead of a multimedia thing. And that ended up shutting down the production company that they were using it with. And so Amblin took it to Showtime at Paramount, and Showtime developed it and eventually, decided, hey, we're going to make this our pillar show other than Star Trek for the Paramount Plus streaming service. And so
and what year is this roughly?
So basically it started in 2005, right? And by the time it got shut down with Peter Jackson, 9 years of development hell, kind of came afterwards. And finally, like they got it. But it was kind of funny because once they started shooting it again in 2019, it was a situation where like they kept pushing it back because they lost their lead director. And then COVID happened, and they had shot like the first 5 episodes, and they went through 2 different showrunners. And so like the saga of bringing this show to fruition is just really crazy.
That's
like
I love for sure.
What worries me about that is that's never a good sign for TV shows. And I'm sitting over here going like, I just want a really good Halo show, man. Come on.
I know they shot the first 5 episodes before they got shut down for COVID. And that's around the time that the first showrunner left because of scheduling issues, because like after like the hiatus, he just had other stuff he had to do. So they brought in a different showrunner. So this is a 9-episode season. It was really supposed to be 10, but it's a 9-episode season. So like half the season is one showrunner, the other half is the other showrunner. And then it got renewed for season 2, and they're bringing in a 3rd showrunner to take it over for the next season.
It's gonna be a
you sit there and you say, all we want is a good show, right? That's all we all want. But it's just like, why can't they just
make it? It's real simple.
It's not complicated.
It's like, I can imagine one of them saying like, well, it's not like Star Wars, it has a bunch of back information, and I'm like, it has thousands of years of lore. Get your shit together.
Everybody's got to make it their own.
And there was that big controversy about how like the production company didn't play the games or didn't pay attention to the games. And
you could make a goddamn series about just the history of how the Forerunners and the Precursors and how the Covenant all got together. Like, you could literally make an entire series and not even touch the UNSC yet. And it would be a great like Game of Thrones style shit that, is like that. It's that in depth. There's that many details. But no, they're just like, oh, we're going to not pay attention to the video game and just like make it our own. Oh my God.
You're so passionate.
Well, I love,
he's a Halo nerd. And it's just like any passionate fan of a franchise when their franchise gets messed with by the mucky mucks who are trying to like make it their own. Yeah, well, exactly.
Yeah.
You know, it's like I come into this not a fan. You know, I don't know anything about this, but I appreciate the fact that there are people like Alex out there who are going to immediately see the flaws in this that I and you aren't going to see. And I've been there with Star Trek and Star Wars and other shows, and it's just like, what are you doing?
I'm going to try not
What
to.
are you fucking doing?
I'm going to try
You know,
not
it's
to
just
ruin
like,
the show for you.
you know, so.
But anyway, it's about time for us to actually get into the show.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
take it away.
let's talk
Yeah,
about
let's talk about it. Go ahead, Kadish.
All right. So the episode starts in the year 2552 on the planet Madrigal, part of the United Earth Government Outer Colonies, where a mining facility is extracting Tier 4 deuterium-laced heavy water from the planet. Turns out the miners who live at the facility are actually insurrectionists who want to break away from the United Earth Government and declare independence. While watching Venture Grath on TV, we learn that he has been sent by the leader of the insurrectionist movement on Madrigal, a man by the name of General Jude Ha, to negotiate with the UEG. However, the miners aren't impressed with this gesture and would prefer to fight the United Nations Space Command, or the UNSC, for their independence. But the legend of the Spartans, genetically enhanced super soldiers, keeps them from taking up arms. After all, Marines can be killed, but Spartans apparently can't.
So the insurrectionists, these rebellious colonies from the UNSC, that's classic Halo stuff. That's been around forever.
Yeah, that's from the lore.
Yeah, that's from the lore. That's literally the reason why the Spartans were created to begin with, is to deal with the insurrectionists.
So you got the big government controlled core.
Right.
You got the outer rim full of all these
The rebels who want independence.
insurrectionists.
Yeah. It's a classic like Firefly
and-
brown coats.
And the Halo guys in the armor, they're like the elite soldiers of the core of the core world.
Specifically created.
Wow, this sounds exactly like Star Wars.
I was going to say, it looks a lot like Tatooine.
But yeah, this is all like lore stuff, so it kind of makes sense. Again, I think they're mixing up the timelines a little bit, but it's not, at this point, it's not so bad that it's kind of like breaking anything. It's just, okay, you're kind of squishing things. You're condensing the timeline a little bit, but that's fine.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where like the outer colonies of the United Earth Government feel like they're being taxed too much, and so like they want their independence because they feel like they're just slave labor in service to like this central government type thing that's taking all their resources.
What is weird for me, because the games, you are Master Chief, you play as Master Chief, you're always on the side of the UNSC, like you are. And this TV show is flipping that, flipping the perspective. Kind of the
bad guys.
They're turning you as the gamer. I guess if they're gonna make that comparison, you as the gamer are now the bad guy in all the video games. And I'm like, that doesn't feel good. I don't like that. That irritates me a little bit, because I'm like, UNSC, you're always fighting as Master Chief. You're with your Marines and you're going up against the Covenant.
But
and it's
Master
like,
Chief is going up against a UNSC now.
Yeah, well, we'll get into that in a second.
Okay.
It's just a very common way to set things up. Star Wars, Firefly,
Right.
Foundation.
Yeah.
You know,
The
Halo
big
now.
empire is the
Big
bad
empire
guy.
with the outer
rebellions
rim.
are the good guys.
Yeah, okay.
Except
all
it hasn't been the way. Like the insurrectionists are like a footnote in the Halo universe.
It's like big government's bad.
Yeah. Like,
right? Is that
yes, exactly.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, exactly. But it's weird to me because the insurrectionists are like barely mentioned. They're like, oh yeah, there was this rebellion, but then once the freaking Covenant came,
You're talking about like in the game, and
in the
and
games,
the expanded universe.
in the games in the expanded universe, like once the Covenant showed up and aliens start glassing planets, like nobody gave a shit about the insurrection.
Right.
Yeah, in fact, some of the insurrectionists actually teamed up with the UNSC to take on the Covenant. Right?
Yeah, exactly. So it's a weird perspective to take on, and for the beginning of the show, it was just very strange for me to be like, oh, I've been the bad guy this whole time. Okay, but anyway, continue.
Welcome to your life.
Yeah.
All right. General Jude Ha's daughter, Kwan Ha, has snuck out of the mining facility with her friends to head into the nature area surrounding the mine to search for drugs. Apparently, the high concentration of heavy hydrogen on the planet is not only good for powering ships, but also for supercharging the natural opium of the plant life.
Shrooms, baby.
Yeah, I actually kind of thought that was funny. They were like, oh, let's go look for some shrooms. They all go out and get high.
What else are you going to do if you live in a desert?
Right. Yeah, that's a very teenager thing to do. That didn't bother me at all. Go ahead, continue.
All right. As the kids are all about to get super high, Kwan goes to investigate a strange flash of light in the woods and stumbles upon an alien ship that appears to be blasting into a cave in the cliffside. Kwan rushes to her friends to warn them about her discovery when all of a sudden her friends start getting blown apart by plasma fire. Kwan sets off a warning flare to the mining colony, and the rebels within believe it's a warning that the UNSC military is attacking. As they prepare to defend themselves, Kwan rushes in and warns her father that it's not the UNSC. Before she has a chance to explain, the colony is assaulted by huge alien creatures that are impervious to bullets, and they begin slaughtering everyone they see in the outpost.
I didn't know what to expect going into this. I did not think they were going to go full rated R. But
it's gnarly.
when the freaking Covenant started blasting these kids with like plasma pistols and stuff, and their like feet were flying off and like limbs were getting lost, people were getting blown up, I was like, oh shit.
You were like, okay. Damn. Yeah.
I mean, they did a great job showing how brutal the Covenant are.
It was awesome. Like you never really get the opportunity to see what a plasma pistol will do to an unarmed, just normal human being just wearing clothes. Because you're always either the ODST or you're a UNSC soldier or you're the Master Chief. So you kind of just like take the hits and you keep on trucking. But I was like, holy shit. They went like hardcore rated R with this, like freaking Saving Private Ryan style. I was like, yeah, that's awesome. Go ahead.
Okay, so would you say that this is accurate to the game? Like this scene where the monsters come in, the Covenant?
Yeah, the Covenant it's a group of different species.
The Covenant is in the game.
Mm-hmm.
You're
that much of a noob.
Yeah.
Wow.
The Master Chief guys, what are they called?
Spartans.
The Spartans are in the game. Everything else is not in the game?
Yeah, so the Covenant is a conglomerate army of several different alien species that got together, and they're going on basically like a holy crusade to get to this wonderful world where I think it's called the Resurrection or something like that.
Basically there's a group called the Prophets that are like this kind of like higher group that have organized all these different alien races under a theocracy that is a religion based around what's called the Forerunners, who are like a very advanced alien species that existed in the universe before like humanity or the Prophets or the Covenant or whatever. And so the Covenant's basically just like a conglomeration of, like Alex said, different alien races that are all like super religious.
Remember the necromancers from Riddick?
Oh, I love the necromongers.
Very similar in as far as like it's a
okay.
They're following a group of people for a religious reason to get to like a promised land.
Okay, so it's a religion. I was under the impression they had to like put puzzle pieces together or something. What is this piece?
Well, we'll get to it. It's Forerunner technology, but that's another thing that they kind of.
It's separate from the religion, though.
No, the Forerunners are their religion. They're following the Forerunners as like their gods.
The Covenant basically believes that the Forerunners were like gods, and that the Covenant is the chosen race of the gods, and they have to uncover the ancient technology in order to.
That's the puzzle piece I'm talking about.
In order to get to the promised land.
Okay.
But the funny thing is, like the first ever message that humanity gets from the Covenant is, you are a disgrace to the gods, or your destruction is the will of the gods, and we are their tools. So like, the destruction of humanity is literally part of their religion. Yeah.
Okay, so that's why they go in and like kill everyone.
That's why they go in and like purposely just murder everybody, because they feel like it's their righteous crusade to go do that.
And in this show, apparently, humanity is at war with the Covenant, just like they are in the games. But the outer colonists like don't believe it. They think it's propaganda in order to justify getting their resources.
Yeah, that part's bullshit.
Yeah, and so like. They don't know about the actual aliens themselves. And the aliens that we see in this scene are called elites, Covenant elites, and they are like the super soldiers of the Covenant. They're like really hard to kill. Yeah,
they have different classes of aliens. So the Prophets are the brain of the operation. They're the one who created the religion. The second one down would be the elites, or I think it's called the Sengjai is their species name. So it's them, and then they have the brutes, where they're the big ape type people that we haven't seen in the show yet. And then you got like the jackals, and then the grunts, and it kind of just goes down in tiers. And they see humankind as unworthy of being part of this group. So they're this
is all making much more sense now.
Okay. Yeah,
you're explaining it.
Thank you for explaining this. And guys, I'm sorry, but I'm probably going to be asking a lot of questions like this throughout our coverage.
I have a feeling like this is going to be a really long podcast.
Yeah. So I apologize if you are a long-standing member of the Halo alumni, but I am not, and I need all of this explained to me.
Me neither.
All right, go ahead, Kadish.
All right, so as the colonists are getting slaughtered, a UNSC aircraft flies overhead and 4 Spartan warriors leap out, including John 117, aka Master Chief. The Spartans immediately begin kicking the asses of the much bigger aliens, and when the colonists realize the Spartans are there to help them, they quickly begin fighting alongside the super soldiers. Not that it does much good, because the aliens still kill everyone that they can. When the dust of the battle settles, the Spartans and Kwan are the only ones left alive from the encounter. Not concerned with the lone survivor, Master Chief leads his unit, Silver Squad, to the location of the Covenant ship that was performing the excavation in the wilderness at the colony's boundary.
All right, I gotta talk about this battle.
Oh, it was so good.
It was great.
Best part of the show.
Everybody
Yes.
died.
Everybody, no, I know, but like some people have been complaining about the CGI for the elites and stuff. I thought
great.
they looked fine.
I thought it looked
Yeah,
fantastic.
I'm like, it's a fucking TV show, man. Like it's not a AAA,
Dude, if this was on a movie screen, I would have been happy with this.
It's
There's
not. It's not bad at all.
This is great.
I didn't really get
that scene where the elites are walking through like the dust after having blown the door open.
Yeah.
Like it's all very like cinematic. And even though like there is some janky CGI, like it didn't take me out of it.
I didn't notice any.
I'm
CGI.
gonna point out a couple of things that
Except
really
for
bug the shit out of me. But
I know there's one.
so
thing.
there's the battle itself is good if you just turn your brain off and you're just watching it. But there's a couple issues with it. One, the main general guy who is the father of the little
Jin Ha.
He's using a mounted machine gun to take down these elites, right? And they're just walking through it like it ain't shit.
It's like a 50 cal, right?
Yeah, it's a giant. It's the same gun you use in the video game. You literally hold that gun in the video game and you blow freaking people away. It doesn't take much. It's a very, very powerful weapon. The problem is when the humans are using it, it doesn't do shit. But then as soon as the Spartans pick it up, they fucking kill him in they kill him in like 2 seconds. It's kind of janky and dumb, and I didn't like that. Like it's not. The Spartan holding it is not what's causing the elites to die. It's the ammunition that they're firing. So unless you come up with like, well, the humans weren't actually hitting them in targeted spots or whatever, it was kind of way too convenient. The second thing that really bothered me, and I've been joking about this with JT, but goddamn it, there is a 2003 Chevy Tahoe in this freaking alien planet 500 years in the future, and I'm sitting there, I'm like, you couldn't dress it up a little bit? It's a goddamn, they didn't even take the emblem off. It's just a Chevy just parked off in the freaking alien world, and I'm like, come on.
Halo is brought to you by Chevy.
I'm like, right? It's like
it's a little weird.
So
It's like people only do things because
when
they get paid.
when they get
and
paid.
That's just really sad.
That's really sad. Shout out to freaking Wayne's World.
So I can actually address both those things with this scene.
Okay.
So first of all, there was a lot of fan service in this battle, especially when the Spartans showed up, because when Master Chief gets that Gatling gun off the back of the truck and he starts walking around while he's firing it, that's like straight
out of the video game. Yeah.
Yeah, like every POV shot of Master Chief in this thing, like, that's straight from the game. Hearing the sound of the shield recharging.
Oh, that was a great moment. Yeah, he hides behind the wall. It's like,
Yeah. But in terms of like the Gatling gun, so basically the idea here is that the Spartans, their weapons have like special type of ammunition that's specifically geared to like take down the shields and be destructive. And the people in the colony aren't using that type of ammunition, and they also aren't aware of like how to bring down the shields quickly enough. Once Master Chief gets the Gatling gun, he's able to concentrate the fire quick enough in order to take down the shields and actually kill the elites. Whereas before, the elites were able to scramble and not be like pinned down by that thing. Now,
I call bullshit.
Alex's face
I
is calling
call
bullshit.
total bullshit.
that is a little
They
bit.
were literally walking in a straight line directly into fire by 2 Gatling guns at the same time. That doesn't add up.
So foundation.
So I'm not saying you're wrong, Alex. I'm saying like this is how the producers have explained it.
That's bullshit.
Now the second thing about the Chevy Tahoe is that the producers specifically came out and said like, yes, we know that there's a Chevy Tahoe in the shot. There's a reason for that, and essentially the reason is that at a certain point, UNSC technology, they can control all that stuff remotely, and so in order to prevent the UNSC from controlling their technology, the colonists specifically defined technology that's old enough where like the UNSC can't control it, and so like they get these 500-year-old cars.
That's a little bullshit.
That's some serious. That's not a little bullshit.
Yes, we know that there's a Starbucks cup in
know
the
what?
shot, and the reason for it is because
Thank you. That's so bullshit because
I have your back on that one.
that's so dumb. Because all you have to do is you would have one line from one character who's working on a vehicle saying, "God damn it, the UNSC, man, they just keep hijacking our freaking electronics. We got to rip out the CPUs from this vehicle and make it our own." That's a 30-second clip in this video where we introduce the world. Not, oh well, we had a 2003 Chevy because we needed to kind of like get the fuck out of here.
We didn't get parts for that thing.
Bullshit. That being said, that's my salt for this battle scene. There's one CGI bit which I did not understand why they made it CGI. But when right before Master Chief grabs the Gatling gun, he throws down his rifle, his rifle that he's using, and it's a quick scene where it goes just full screen. The rifle hits the ground and it kind of like bounces. It was like really crappy CGI, and I'm like, why? Why was that even there? A, you didn't need that because you watch him throw it on the ground. I didn't understand why they did that. And it kind of took me out of it. So there's a couple of scenes in this that were like, I wanted so badly to just like sink into this show. And it's like, oh, there's a 2002 Chevy Tahoe right there. Oh,
I did have a fanboy moment when Master Chief like lands and like he looks up and I'm just like, oh,
the superhero landing.
Yeah,
for sure. Landing. Dude, I will praise the hell out of this. Master Chief looks freaking dope in this scene.
All the Spartans
they did amazing at making it look real and functional, and like the armor is amazing. It's great.
Now, what's weird to me is that, so like in the games and the expanded lore, they make it clear that before Halo Combat Evolved, the first video game, Master Chief was in Blue Team, which is basically like the exact same team he's with in this episode, but they call themselves Silver Team instead of Blue Team. Is there a reason why they changed it to Silver?
Because it's the Silver timeline. That's really the only reason. They had to differentiate the teams because it's a different version than the video games. That's really the only thing I can think of, because the team's almost identical. It's two women and two men in the team originally in the lore. So it's exactly the same team. They just renamed it because it's a TV show.
There you have it.
Yeah. And all the Master Chief and all of the people on his team, they're like
they're all Spartan too. Yeah.
But they're all like universal soldiers. No memory.
Yeah. Okay, so
are they dead like in Universal Soldier?
No.
Okay, they're just wiped.
So I don't know if I want to tell you the whole story behind the Spartans, because this show's going to explore that.
Okay.
But they're genetically altered children.
Yeah, so basically there was or
I guess he's going to ruin it for you.
Well, Miranda Halsey started the Spartan program to create super soldiers, and there was a Spartan 1 program where they had volunteers from the military come in, but then they decided that they needed to find certain like genetic markers in order to create like a super soldier.
Oh, and that's why she wants to do cloning.
Well, I mean, there's a little bit difference with that, but the Spartans that we see here with like Master Chief and Silver Team, they're part of what's called the Spartan 2 program.
Okay. They were the most successful.
They're the second generation of super soldiers here. And part of that is basically like making them very compliant with orders. And so like they suppress their childhood memories and a bunch of other stuff in order to make them the most effective killing machines that they can. And they were originally developed to fight the Insurrectionists. But once the Covenant came into the picture, they were like humanity's best weapon against the Covenant.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Continue. What happens next?
Okay. Inside the excavation, they find a strange-looking artifact that the Covenant forces had uncovered. When Master Chief touches it, it activates, and Master Chief experiences memories of a family of some type. While this is happening, the last survivor of the Covenant excavation team sees this and escapes to report what he saw.
I'm wondering, because Kadish is the only person who knows this, but do you think that they're hinting at a future Arbiter with that character?
I don't. I think that was just like a throwaway thing. Okay. But in the video game lore, there are these things called reclaimers. Is that correct? And basically, humanity has like this kind of like genetic marker that allows them to activate Forerunner technology.
Yeah, whereas the Forerunners and humans have a deep connection.
Yeah, and the Covenant can't activate this stuff, even though it's central to their religion. And so like they need to find out who these reclaimers are in order to use the technology that basically powers their beliefs.
Right.
Yeah.
Do you guys understand all that?
Yep. Got it.
Cool. They're kind of, again, this show is doing a lot of things that I think they're squishing the timeline down, and they're like just shoving everything into this one episode. And like the whole humans and Forerunner technology and the connection that it has, I feel like that was really rushed. Like,
I want to know when Channing Tatum's going to show up with his sky boots.
Little Jupiter ascending.
How dare you?
Don't you put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby!
How dare you, sir?
That would be really dope.
Don't mention that terrible movie.
He has more in common with a dog than he does with a human.
But we love dog.
God damn it.
We've always loved dogs.
Why would you ruin this for me?
He'd be really cool with Master Chief.
Shut the hell up, dude. Shut up. What happens next, Katie? Oh, stupid fucking pointy fingers.
They took his wings.
Can we just briefly mention how big of an asshole Master Chief is?
For just leaving that chick?
Yeah, not just leaving her, but like he just seems like a complete jerk.
He's just following his programming, man.
He don't care about it. She would do. Okay, there was another scene. It just reminded me of when the main general guy was like, he saw Master Chief land. There's literally like an 8-foot tall alien about to kill him. He decides, no, screw that guy. I'm going to shoot the dude over here. I'm like, God damn it, dude. What the hell?
And he just watched like all the children in his village get like slaughtered
by this guy.
And what was even worse is like at the end of the battle where he sees like his daughter hiding underneath that truck, and he starts firing at the elite, who is obviously just like not even aware that she's hiding there. He starts like running towards the thing as he's firing at it. And I was just like, you're supposed to be a general who's leading the resistance against the UNSC military. You'd think you'd be smart enough to like walk backwards as you're firing.
Get his attention and run away to get him away from his daughter. Yeah, no.
Yeah, there was a lot of plot contrivances going on in this scene.
Real dumb. But anyway.
All right, so on the planet of Reach, which is the foremost UNSC planet in the war with the Covenant, we meet Dr. Catherine Halsey, the creator of the Spartan program. She watches the feed of Master Chief discovering the alien artifact with interest, just as Admiral Margaret Parangoski enters Halsey's lab. Parangoski informs Halsey that the Madrigal survivor will be debriefed by Dr. Miranda Keyes, who is in charge of the UNSC's Alien Technology Division. Apparently, there's some friction between Halsey and Keyes. Before she leaves, Admiral Parangoski sees that Halsey has been making a clone of herself and orders Halsey to cease the project known as Cortana. But Halsey doesn't seem like the type to follow orders.
So for you guys, Halsey is a huge character in the games and in the lore, and she kind of sees herself as above everybody else. She has a real high horse. She doesn't follow the rules. She's always off doing her own thing, and the military like reluctantly works with her because she created the Spartan program, which they really like using because they're really efficient and they're good weapons. But they don't like how they were created. So they have this really, really bad relationship between Halsey and the military. They do not like each other, but
and she's kind of a mad scientist.
Yeah, she's a bit of a crazy, like Nazi type scientist.
She's a good guy or a bad guy?
She's on well, I guess now technically because of this show, she's on the bad side, but she's a good character. She's on the good side, but she's a bad character. She's doing.
She's like the ends justify the means type person.
Yeah, they explore that in the books and stuff. Not so much. They explore a little bit in the games, but
and
not
Cortana is
the computer program.
But is a clone of her?
No,
I'm confused.
I don't know where the cloning thing came from. Do you know? Are you familiar with where that came from?
So in the games, Cortana's brain is a clone of Halsey's. So like she digitized her consciousness and put it into this Cortana program. Now in the show, I think what they're leading up to is that Halsey is cloning herself so that she can like digitize the clone's brain into Cortana. So like we know for a fact that like when McElhenney, the actress who plays Halsey, was cast, she was also cast as Cortana, but because of the COVID stuff, they had to recast Cortana, and they got the actual voice actress who did the video games to play the character.
Thank God.
So basically, the physical clones are going to be digitized in some way and turned into artificial intelligence that will play into the Spartan program.
Yeah,
Interesting.
The Spartans operate better when they have a companion, an AI companion. They find that it's more efficient. They react better, and it helps their psyche a little bit. So
somebody to talk to you, man.
Yeah. They pair them up. They pair each one up with a AI. That's in the games too. All right, guys. Now that we got the battle out of the way, we're gonna take a quick break. We'll be right back, and then we're gonna finish up the massive, giant conglomeration of plots that is the second half of this episode. So stay tuned. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everybody. Hey, if you want to support the podcast and get awesome content in return, head over to saltynerdclub.com, join the club membership for Patreon, and there you can get access to 4 exclusive podcasts every single month where we talk about classic sci-fi shows like Stargate Atlantis, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Eureka, Doctor Who, all kinds of really fun stuff. So head over to the saltynerdclub.com and join up. It's only $5 a month. You guys get an a massive amount of content in return. We really love our club members. Shout out to those guys who've already joined up, and thank you very much. We really appreciate the support. It helps us out immensely, and we're trying to get to 100 club members. We're at about 50 right now, so we're about halfway there. If we can get your help, you could sign up. It's only $5. We get to that 100-mile marker. That'd be amazing. So head over to the club members area at saltynerdclub.com. All right, take it away. What happens next?
All right. On the Covenant megacity of High Charity in an unknown location, one of the Covenant High Prophets named Mercy goes to see a mysterious human girl named Mackie. She appears to be working with the Covenant and was the one who directed them to Madrigal, where she divined where the artifact was. Mercy informs Mackie that the artifact was taken by the Spartan warrior they call the Demon, and that he was able to activate the artifact much like Mackie apparently can. This disturbs Mackie, who demands to speak to the surviving Covenant warrior who returned with this information. But before she can, Mercy points out that she must put away her Book of Human Stories, which Mackie says she reads to better understand the Covenant's enemy, though it may be that it's her last actual connection to humanity.
Alex, your salt is fueling me.
I'm sorry, this is so stupid.
So none of that is in the game?
You might find a book somewhere that talks about something like this.
Okay. When you say books, do you mean like there are actual novels about this?
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
That came out after the game?
Well, concurrently it's just like any major franchise. There's going to be people out there who want to tell a story about this universe, and they write a novel, and they get licensing and stuff like that.
And the stuff like the space city of High Charity and,
in the games
Mercy
and
and the Prophets, like they're all in the games.
Yeah.
Okay.
What's not in the game is the girl.
This is because here's what I'm thinking, and I might be ignorant of some content out there that I haven't read yet, but like I said before, the prophets and the Covenant are going on a holy war against humanity. They don't see humanity as being worthy of life, and they see it as a mission from God to destroy them. Why would you team up with them if you don't see them to be worthy of life? It doesn't make any sense. It throws a huge wrench into the entire plot line of the Covenant to be doing this.
I get it.
And later on, once the war is going for long time, and the elites, the aliens that we saw at the beginning of the show, they have a certain respect for humanity because they've been fighting them for so long, and they realize that they're not completely useless, inbred, crazy people. They're actually a race worthy of their respect. And it causes a rift in the Covenant, and the elites actually break away. But that's not for decades and decades into this war. So the fact that they have a human at High Charity within the inner circles of the Prophet, tomfoolery.
And that's the weird girl in the weird outfit.
Yes. Yeah. It doesn't make any sense.
Shenanigans.
Her name is Mackie, and apparently she's a reclaimer, and that means that she's able to operate the Forerunner technology, which is why the prophets are keeping her around, because she's the one who's able to basically do what they need her to do with these artifacts that they're finding. And they just discovered that their greatest enemy in this war, which is the one they call the Demon, aka Master Chief, is also a reclaimer, and that kind of pisses Mackie off.
It just, I don't know. I'm really curious to see where they take this, because they're doing some weird moves with this chick. I don't understand what this girl is. So we'll see. Maybe it'll be okay, but I don't know. It's kind of throwing a wrench in everything for me. But
yeah, it's definitely weird.
Very strange.
It's a weird choice, and we've seen in the trailers that she uses. I almost want to say the flood or something, like these tentacle things to attack other humans or something.
Yeah, it's very. I don't know where
tentacle things.
Yeah. Well, what? I don't. If they introduce the flood within the first season, that's gonna be freaking ridiculous, man. Come on, it's too soon for that shit.
Testicles?
Yeah, testicles.
No, tentacles.
Yeah.
NT. John Cusack.
Better Off Dead. Love that movie. So yeah, this was really weird for me. I didn't like it because it kind of throws a wrench in the entire freaking Covenant hierarchy. It doesn't make any sense, dude. Master
25% different.
Yeah, Master Chief is the one who activates the Halo ring because he's able to activate the Forerunner technology, and now they have this girl who can do it too. It's throwing everything off, man.
Yeah, they don't even mention the Halos in this episode.
Well,
so does Master Chief ever get air skates?
Shut up, dude. Moving on. What happens next?
Dogs and cats living together in sin.
All right, so Kwan Ha wakes up on the Condor dropship that Master Chief is flying back to the planet of Reach. A hologram of Miranda Keyes appears and tries to comfort Kwan over the loss of everyone she ever knew, and asks her to record a warning for the other colonies that don't believe in the Covenant or think that the UNSC is really at war with an alien species. Kwan is still reeling from losing her father and doesn't trust the UNSC and tells Miranda that unless Madrigal is granted its independence, she'll lie and tell everyone it was the UNSC that slaughtered her colony and her father, the rebellion leader. This, of course, doesn't please Admiral Perengoski, who is overseeing the exchange. Yeah. I really hate Kwan Ha.
So
Alex is breaking over here.
I hope she dies.
She basically just signed her death warrant
with
that act.
Listen, she's the main character of the show.
Oh, shut up.
She's
the main character of the show.
character of the show.
The opening credits is literally Master Chief getting suited up.
They're going Hollywood SJW right here, bro.
Oh, I hope they don't.
The little strong
but this
girl
whole,
was the orphan.
No,
and
dude.
Yeah, she's the main character of the show.
Her argument,
she is.
Her argument against Miranda Keyes is literally the dumbest thing I have ever heard.
They're taking your
They're
taking your world,
and
they're making it evolve around a little SJW girl that they rescued off the show.
I don't want to talk about politics. What I'm trying to talk about is how stupid her logic is.
She's Gal Dornick.
She gets rescued, right? Master Chief rescues her from being murdered by the Covenant. She goes with them, and when they're like, hey, it would be really helpful for the good of humankind if you were to just go on and talk to your people, the insurrectionists, and say, hey, look, the Covenant are coming. They're going to murder everybody. Mm-hmm. We have to team up with the UNSC, even though we're enemies, to help fight this alien invasion and stop it from happening. And she goes, no, I'm going to tell them you did it because you're the bad people. Yeah. And I was like, are you fucking stupid?
They're even like, we have the whole thing on video. It was recorded, and she's like, you guys can fake that stuff.
That's fake propaganda. I'm like, oh my God, you're a dumbass. It drove me up a wall.
Also, are there other colonies on Madrigal, or was this it? Because everybody's dead.
I think that was it. I think it was just like one outpost.
Independence for them for? Are we all heading there after?
Is there other planets?
That's a good question.
Are there other planets?
Like nobody else there.
I was curious about that.
I want independence for Madrigal. You're the only one left. I know.
Yeah, okay, sure.
Have it.
You and no one else.
Go eat your mushrooms and fuck off.
Yeah.
The entire resistance.
Good news, you're independent. Go back there. Bomb them. Now it's ours again.
Obviously, we know there's more than just one planet that wants independence. That's part of this conglomeration of freaking, the insurgents or whatever. I understand that, but her very specific, I want my planet to be independent. I'm like, okay.
You're not really holding a lot of cards here, lady.
Yeah.
I was also thinking, why did they send this scientist to talk to this lady? Shouldn't they have sent like a therapist or someone who could show her some compassion and comfort?
Still wearing her bestie's blood on her face.
Oh yeah,
and you're like, hey, can you do us a favor?
Can you just make a quick YouTube video?
She's like, by the way, I haven't eaten anything all day, and I was like, oh God, please wipe your mouth off.
Everyone I ever knew die in front of me horribly.
The writing in this whole thing is rushed and weird and stupid.
I feel like I liked it more before I started talking to you guys.
Miranda Keyes is a big character. I can understand why they would want to use her just because they want to introduce her to the audience for the show.
Miranda's the hologram girl?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Miranda Keyes is a very, very big part in the games.
That girl there.
Yeah. Her
Halsey's
father.
Daughter.
Okay.
Oh, well, shit. I triggered him. I didn't even know. Are you triggered?
No. It's not Halsey's daughter.
Okay.
Miranda Keyes is her own character.
In the show, it's her daughter.
Oh, God. This is so foundation.
They're just taking shit and shoving it together. Doesn't make any goddamn sense.
Kwan Ha is Gal Dornick, and you fucking know it.
Miranda Keyes is her own goddamn character. She could stand on her own. She doesn't need to be fucking related to the Nazi doctor. It's just stupid. But anyway.
Wow.
Fuck this goddamn show. Anyway.
Wow.
It's pretty though.
Are there Zerg in this show?
There are.
Do the Zerg show up? What about Protoss?
Salvar Hardin is Miranda Keyes.
They made her.
The Covenant's basically the Protoss.
Yeah.
And the Zerg are the Flood.
Oh, sweet. I can't wait. I can't bug hives and shit.
I'm just delighted.
Jude doesn't even know what we're talking
Jude's
about.
like, I love how much you hate it. And it's funny because I was like, I watched it the first episode. I watched the first time I watched it. I was like, God damn it. I was all pissed off and all irritated. And then I like kind of sat on it for a couple of days and I started like mulling over it. And then I watched it again. I was like, oh, it wasn't that bad. And now I'm talking to you guys and I'm like reliving all this shit. I'm like, that's not in the games. That's not part of the lore. This is stupid.
Do you need a hug?
I do. I need to go play a game.
I can give you a hug.
I need to go play Combat Evolved.
I've watched this show 5 times.
5
Damn.
times.
And
You're a
I
crazy
still
person.
can't decide whether or not I like it.
Yeah, I'm. The more I'm talking about it, the less I'm liking it. God damn it. All right, continue. We got to get this done. This is going to be like a 4-hour-long podcast.
Which one's Harry Seldon?
Admiral Keys.
Okay, great.
All right. In her lab, Dr. Halsey is monitoring Master Chief's vitals and notes that his interaction with the alien relic has supercharged his biology in a strange way. When she communicates with Master Chief, he informs her that he experienced memories of a family, a revelation that shocks Halsey and her assistant.
Sure. I guess. Fuck it. I don't have necessarily any major problems with this, but it's just kind of like, why? Why are we doing this? But
Well, if
whatever.
you know the background behind the Spartan 2 thing, like this
It's pretty
is
dark.
relevant.
Yeah, it's real dark.
Yeah.
And I guess they're going to explain it in this show,
Is,
so that's fine, I guess.
Does Enfys Nest show up? In the show?
That's Miranda Keys.
Yeah. No one has red hair in the Halo.
There's no redheads. Oh, man.
I'm just gonna start inserting all my shit from all these
You're
other
trying to
things.
irritate the shit out of me if you keep doing
That's
that,
what I'm
man.
gonna do.
Be
I'm
part of the
doing it.
conversation.
Alex is gonna quit Halo 5 episodes in, just like I did Foundation, and then he's finally gonna be like, Jude, I understand you, and I apologize for not supporting you during Foundation.
Tom's going to come in here and start hosting the show.
Yeah.
I know. It'll be the Tom show. Tom, we need you.
Yeah. But anyway, continue on.
Who was it that said Tom drives them crazy?
Oh, one of our patrons. Anyway.
I get it. He drives me crazy too.
It's relevant. I get it. I know what they're doing. It's fine. Continue on.
In Miranda Keyes' lab, her father, Captain Jacob Keyes, comes to visit her. We discover that Dr. Halsey is Keyes' ex-wife and Miranda's mother. Keyes informs Miranda that Parangoski has ordered Kwan to be executed and her death blamed on injuries suffered from the assault on the colony. Miranda doesn't approve of the murder of the teenage girl, but Keyes informs her that the order, known as Article 72, has already been given.
I should have worn my Fitbit today. My heart rate's fucking pounding right now. I had too many energy drinks. They're kicking in finally. God damn it, dude. Captain Keyes is the fucking, like, go down with the ship badass. Like, you are the man. Captain Keyes is like what every captain should want to be. He's fucking Captain Picard in the first game. And then he's like, yeah, we're just gonna like assassinate this girl. Is that okay with you? In the middle of an open fucking laboratory where there's people just randomly walking around. He's talking to his daughter about like some fucking,
I know who you're talking about now. Okay.
like some crazy ass shit that the army is gonna assassinate this girl because she's inconvenient.
She's the one. She's the one who said, "Dad, is that really cool?" And he goes, "Well, sometimes you just gotta follow orders." Basically, right?
No, yes, that's him.
That's him. Okay.
No, that's not Captain Keyes.
It's for the greater good.
Fuck. They're making the Keyes family into the bad people.
Well, yeah.
No.
I'm sorry, bro. I'm sorry. I can feel your frustration finally coming out. You've been in denial for the last 2 weeks.
I've been trying not to be.
You're
I've been
breaking.
trying not to be an asshole about this
You're
show.
breaking.
I want people to enjoy it. I want people to like this show, but I'm like,
Do you?
God damn it, man.
You're always
Why
Mr.
they-
Positivity, and it's dawning on you all of a sudden that they're fucking with something you love, and it's just like, God damn it. And then I'm the guy, I'm just like,
Dude.
hey man, it's a cool science fiction show with soldiers, super soldiers and aliens and shit.
You do
And it's
not
like-
fuck up Captain Keyes, man. He goes down with the ship, the Pillar of Autumn, and you go there and he gets taken over by the flood. This is spoilers for the first game. And you go and the big bad, and you realize that Captain Keyes has become one with the flood and you have to kill Captain Keyes. It's a very
man.
traumatic moment. And it doesn't work if he's an asshole.
Sorry. I get it. I feel your pain, bro. I feel it.
It's amazing.
That's one of my rants right there.
I think Jude is looking at this as payback for Foundation.
I really am.
That's gonna get clipped, you know.
It's already on my
salty,
TikTok.
salty.
All right, so Master Chief goes into the area where Kwan is being held to check his systems for abnormalities because he hasn't been feeling well ever since making contact with the artifact. Kwan asks him if there's anything to eat, and Master Chief takes her to the downstairs cabin so she can get some food. While eating, Kwan tells Master Chief that she's seen him before and that he was responsible for killing her mother. Master Chief tries to justify it by saying he was following orders, but Kwan challenges him to question the orders he's given. Just then, Master Chief receives the order to execute Kwan, and Master Chief seems disturbed by this. Despite the order, Master Chief questions it and goes to shut off the Condor's video surveillance system.
Broken.
Sure.
He's broken.
Sure. I guess. Question your orders. It's not like he's never done that before, but it's always been for different reasons. It's always been like for the good of humanity, not, I don't know.
For the good of this one girl.
It's like, hey, Master Chief, don't go and risk your life and almost kill yourself, even though it might save a couple people. And he's like, no, fuck that. I'm going to go save everybody. And it's like the Master Chief thing to do, to disobey orders for the greater good. This kind of works, but also it's like, it's different, but whatever. Okay.
It's also very convenient that she says, like, maybe you should start questioning your orders at the exact
Same
same time
time.
he's ordered to kill
I guess
her.
an assassination order. And the whole bit about like, you killed my mom. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm sure she was a wonderful lady.
I was just following orders.
I'm sure she wasn't planning on bombing some UNSC building or something like that. Whatever, lady.
Was your mom a terrorist?
Yeah, it's like, that's what he's implying, right? And then the girl's like, she wasn't a threat to anybody. I'm like, oh God, here we go.
So I had a question I wanted to ask you guys. Has anyone here at the table ever seen the movie The Professional by Luc Besson? It's also known as Leon.
Yeah.
No, it's on our list for.
It's coming up pretty soon. Yeah, we're talking.
But no, I've not seen it yet.
What's her face? You've never seen that movie?
I've not.
Natalie Portman.
I don't.
Yeah,
think-
Natalie Portman, Gary Oldman. Fuck, it's a good movie. Yeah, why? What's up?
So I just want to point out that the storyline that they're following is the exact same storyline as The Professional, where you have a young woman whose entire family is murdered. She is taken under the protection of the world's biggest, most successful killer, and he eventually protects her from an overwhelming force that's trying to murder her. And at the same time, at a certain point in this series, I'm sure, he is going to make some type of sacrifice to prevent her from being just like him, which is a soulless killer.
I was going to ask.
Just don't understand why she's so important. She's just some girl.
She's an insert.
Yeah.
At what age do the Spartans get taken from their parents
Like
or whatever?
6 or 7.
Six.
Yeah.
So
He's 15.
So the girl, the main character of the show, the girl, is she's
Technically
she's too
older
old.
than Master Chief.
So she's
But she could be like a Spartan for.
Wait,
or
what?
something like that.
Wait,
Master Chief is 15.
He's currently supposed to be 15.
Yes.
is he aged?
No, well, that's the whole part of the backstory behind the Spartan 2 program, which
So
I wasn't really.
They rapid age him.
Yeah, they fuck him real up.
Oh, because I was under the impression they just took the kids like Padawan Jedi, and they trained them like
Halsey,
in Soldier.
No,
you
Halsey
know?
went full like I said,
that's dark.
Yeah.
Well, that's why he has all
Dang.
those scars on his back. And
Yeah,
stuff
okay.
Like
Halsey went full like Nazi experimentation doctors
She's
on these people.
Mengele.
Yeah, she's crazy. She's
She's
crazy. She
space
took these
Mengele.
kids and she like injected them with like crazy amounts of hormones to create the Spartans.
All right. Okay. That's crazy.
And experimented on them. That's why Spartan 1 program I think was a huge failure. Like a bunch of people died, and like, you guys remember in The Witcher how like they did the experiments on the Witcher kids, and
Not everybody makes it.
Not everybody makes it. It's
Same
very
kind
much
of
the same
deal.
thing with this. Yeah,
So The Witcher ripped off Halo.
sure.
Okay.
I think The Witcher was probably around longer.
Yeah, I, mean,
I just
don't
want to
know.
know when does Zerg get here.
Well, I just wanted to point out that they're basically ripping off
Yeah.
the Professional. for
Okay,
the
I can see
storyline.
that now. I guess I just hope they don't turn Chief into like the soulless killer. Like, I've been wrong this whole time. Like, oh
If I can get a live
Well,
action
that's
Hydra
exactly
list.
what they're doing.
I better not. Go ahead, continue. What happens next?
All right. The people in the command center back on Reach aren't too happy with their elite killing machine super soldier cutting their camera feed, and it appears that he is disobeying a direct order. So they remotely begin removing all the oxygen from the ship. As Kwan starts to suffocate, they cut off the oxygen to Master Chief's armor, just enough to knock him out and not kill him. However, Master Chief is such a badass and he's so supercharged off of the Forerunner technology, he doesn't need oxygen, and he MacGyvers his way back to restoring air in the ship, saving Kwan's life. This makes Admiral Parangoski afraid Master Chief may take over the Condor he's on and retaliate, despite Halsey's assurances that he'd never do that. But Parangoski has a hard-on for killing her best super soldier now for some reason, and mobilizes all of her Marines and the other members of Silver Team to take down the Master Chief when he arrives. Halsey intercepts Silver Team and supersedes the Admiral's orders, telling the Spartans to protect Master Chief until she can fix whatever's wrong with him, and the Silver Team is totally cool with that.
No, that's legit. The Spartans, blue team, they're basically brothers and sisters. They will fuck anybody up if you fuck with one of them.
Does it take an entire division of the army to take one of them down?
Yes. They're Spartans, bro.
I was like, I just don't get how.
It's like that.
I guess that's, I'm not just, I just haven't.
I think they said it in this show, right? Like one Spartan is worth 100 Marines. That's accurate.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they got like 5,000 soldiers surrounding this thing when it lands. So
anyway, what did you call his ship?
So originally in the games, they're called Pelicans.
Yeah.
But in the show, it's called a Condor.
Fuck you. Why? Why change it?
I don't know.
It's a Pelican. That's what it is. It's what it's always been. I didn't know they changed it. I didn't catch that part. Are you recording me right now?
Modern
We're recording the whole show, Jude.
Your facial reactions while he's talking are priceless.
You're getting TikToked.
Oh God. I don't know. Yeah, that's stupid. Why would they change that?
I don't know, but not only do they refer to it as a Condor, but like in the computer graphics when
Yeah,
they're
yeah.
showing the ship, it says Condor on there.
Why? Whatever.
I mean, why do they call it a
I have a
Warthog,
question.
you know?
Why do they have video
Because
feeds?
it's got tusks. Looks like a puma.
Why do they need video feeds if they can see everything that's going on inside the ship anyway?
Holographically.
Hologram. I don't know.
So I think the hologram thing is directly proportional to like how close to the base it is. So like the base scanners can do it,
I guess maybe.
but they need the video feed for the long distance stuff.
And is he on that ship by himself? Where are the other 3 Spartans
sent
that were
them
there on the
ahead.
planet with him?
Yeah.
Because remember, she was like, "That's not protocol," and he was like, "Whatever, do it anyway." And she was like, "Copy that."
So it just seemed
They didn't
weird.
have 2 ships when they got there,
I know.
but they had 2 ships to leave.
So
That's interesting.
He assigned his 3 teammates to take the Covenant ship back for study.
Oh, that's right. He did say that. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
How did they know how to fly that thing?
They know how to
Space
work
Force.
everything. They're
Spartans.
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 No, that's not how that works.
Spartans.
This is supposed to be early on in the war. The fact that they're like, we've been fighting the Covenant for years is bullshit. This outpost that they destroyed in the first beginning of the show that's like the first time we see the Covenant. Like those Spartans aren't supposed to know about them yet.
Well, apparently in the show they've been fighting them for 6 years.
That's retarded. Sorry, I shouldn't say that word.
How dare you?
So the one I will say, I'll give him credit for this though. The one chick Spartan, I can't remember what her number is because it's different than in the books and stuff. But she is a weapons expert, and she is one of the only people who know how to use the Covenant's weapons. And they actually show her during that battle. She picks up a plasma pistol and uses it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I was like,
that was another throwback to the games. Because
Yeah.
like if you supercharge the plasma pistol, it'll just like put out this like big
well,
burst.
here's the key to win against any elite. You charge up the pistol, you walk up and you knock out their shield with one shot, and then you pull out your shotgun and blow. 2 shots, 2 kills. Boom.
Okay,
Done.
cool.
Good stuff.
I think I'm going to go play today.
What happens next?
So back on the Condor dropship, Master Chief is trying to get manual control of the spacecraft when Kwan, thinking it was Master Chief who tried to kill her, picks up his weapon and threatens him. Despite the gun being useless against Master Chief's Mark 6 Mjolnir armor, he needs Kwan to trust him, and so he does what any badass super soldier would do. He takes off his fucking helmet, reveals his face, and ruins any mystique his character ever fucking had. The face reveal works because Kwan now trusts him and tries to give him his gun back, but Master Chief is like, nah, you can keep it. And everyone at Reach is like, why the fuck did our super soldier just arm the Insurrectionist and reveal his fucking face?
Let the salt flow.
Damn it, they couldn't.
This is where the show lost me.
They couldn't make it one episode.
Not one episode.
It's like, make it a fucking big deal, man.
I know.
He's been Master Chief for 20
Listen,
some odd years.
Even I know Master Chief never takes his
Look,
helmet
you know what? I got nothing against Pablo. What's his last name?
Schreiber.
Nothing against the dude. He's fucking cool, man. I like the guy. He's a good actor. I'm proud that he's able to be Master Chief. But for fuck's sake, dude, like, if you're gonna do it, make it a thing. Make it a fucking season and the mid-season.
Did he pull a Mandalorian thing? Where
Yeah,
he
but
complained because he didn't get to take his helmet off?
I hope
No,
not.
no, it wasn't him. It was the producers. But like, I saw a great YouTube video where like a YouTube special effects guy fixed this scene, and so when Master Chief takes his helmet off, it's a smaller version of Master Chief's helmet underneath the helmet. But I get so sick of these shows where like you have these iconic characters, because the minute that Master Chief revealed his face, it stopped feeling like Halo. Because Master Chief embodies Halo, and the minute you take away that mystique, the minute that you show his face, is when you rob the show of the feeling of the game.
I was already irritated that he did that. Like, I'm like, okay, look, dude, if you're gonna do that kind of shit, I almost feel like they did it like, let's just rip the Band-Aid off. Let's just do it in the first episode and get it over with. And I'm like,
That's what they did.
yeah. And that irritates the shit out of me. But I'm like, if you're going to do it, I can understand to a certain aspect. You have this actor, you have this character. It's a TV show. It's not a video game. We want to make the change. We want to show his face. Okay, fine. I get it to a point. I understand what you're trying to do. Do it at the end of the goddamn season. Make it a big freaking deal.
And everybody would be pissed off then too, though.
I don't think so. I think if it was properly set up within the story, and almost like in The Mandalorian, when he has to do it in front of IG-11, and he's like, well, technically I'm not a human. There's like a whole bit, and he did it to save his life. I was like, okay, that makes sense. That to me, within The Mandalorian, that made sense to me. Properly written into the story, I think they could have made it work in this, but the fact that they just wanted to rip the Band-Aid off and get it over with, and then not only did they do that,
they need people like you to just get it out of your system.
Not only did they do that, but they left it off for like the remainder of the episode. Like he's running around the Pelican. I guess it's not a Pelican. Oh, I just saw. Okay, so
he's never putting his helmet back on.
If
It's never getting put back on. He's just gonna run around without his helmet.
I have to check. So what they call it, a condor?
Condor. Yeah.
Okay, so I just saw a clip of it, and it's not a Pelican because it has more engines than a Pelican does. So maybe it might actually be a different ship. But I have to check. I don't know. But anyway, I'm like, take it off, do the reveal, rip the Band-Aid off. But then he goes back and he just leaves it like on the floor, and he goes about his business, and he starts flying the ship and shit. And I was just like, God damn it.
See, the thing that bothers me is like Hollywood is so gutless when it comes to these things. Like, hire a freaking stunt person, have them stay in the suit, hire the voice actor from the video games to voice the character, and just never take the helmet off. Just let the character be be mysterious, have some mystique around him.
Yeah.
It's so rare to find anyone in the entertainment industry who's willing to do that, because they cast these big actors and they're like, we want to show the guy's face. Otherwise, why are we paying him? And the question is, why are you paying him? Hire a freaking stunt guy that you never have to see his face of, and just like let the character be the character. This was the thing that bothered me the most about this show. And going forward, I'm like,
yeah, like go full David Prowse, dude. Like, just get some freaking huge ass hulking dude who can be the part, and then, like you said, hire the voice actor from the video games.
So, do any of the Spartans ever take their helmets off?
Oh yeah,
yeah, they do
in the games.
Yeah. In the games, you get
it's just Master Chief.
It's just Master Chief, because what they do in the video games is because you, as the player, are supposed to feel like you are the Master Chief.
I get it.
They don't ever take the helmet off because they want you as the player.
You're a Master Chief.
You are him. You want to be able to put your face inside the helmet. Okay. And if they do that, it ruins the mystique of the character, and you can't like put yourself in the game.
And the thing about Master Chief is, so long as he's wearing the helmet, it's like a Schrodinger's cat situation where like he could be anyone. He could be black, he could be white, he could be Asian. Doesn't matter. Like, you could just project whatever you wanted him to be.
Now he's just another straight white guy.
Exactly. They robbed him of any mystique that he had. And so again, I like Pablo Schreiber, like Porn Stash as Master Chief, great, but the idea that they would do it this early, and I really wish that they had the balls to just keep the helmet on. But like, the idea that they did it this early and kept it off like the rest of the show, like if it had just been one scene, I've been like, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
But like, I do think Vader's going to be correct, where like seeing Master Chief with his helmet on is going to be the rare occurrence where we're just going to be seeing Pablo Schreiber's face the entire time.
I don't even think he's the main character of the show. The
I
girl's the main character of the show.
You think Kwan's the main character?
I'm just going off the opening credits.
I just listen. I feel your pain.
I mean, he looks.
I do. I feel your pain right now.
He does look.
It's so frustrating to have things we love be dissected in front of you. I get it. I really do. I get it.
I think everything. The biggest thing that pissed me off was the Keyes family being related to the Nazi doctor chick, and then having them be like the bad people.
I'm so torn right now, because as an action science fiction show, that I have absolutely no connection with, I kind of like this.
I get it.
I really do. But having things that I do love being destroyed because of Hollywood stupidity, I understand. And it makes it harder for me to say that I do like it, because I know there's fans out there like you and a lot of people that we interact with that will not abide by this, and it's not cool, man. These people, they need to like stick with the lore.
It is interesting to see the take of people who aren't familiar with video games versus the people who are. And it's definitely like on this side of the table, because me and Alex are familiar with video games, I think we're a little bit more critical of it than you guys, who are kind of coming to it just like, clean, I guess.
Yeah. And I want to address one thing. I haven't seen anything in particular. I'm not trying to call anybody out, but I have heard that like people are complaining about like the representation. There's like the female power.
Yeah,
that's all from the games, guys. That's all like hardcore OG lore. Like, yeah, the Spartan teams was half girl, half male. There was 2 male, 2 women. Catherine Halsey has always been a girl. Miranda Keys is a huge part of the second game, and it's a strong female character. Like, that's none of that should be criticized, because that's all from the lore of the video games and stuff like that. So I didn't have any issues with that whatsoever. My biggest issue is how they treated the Keys family, because I kind of hold them up on they're pretty high up for me. Like, they're badass characters in the games, in the first and second one. And I don't like seeing them be kind of like shit on in this. And it's frustrating.
All right. So as the Condor approaches the command base, Kwan shoots the ship's automatic control panel in order to give Master Chief manual control of the vessel.
Shoots it with a machine gun.
But before Master Chief can fly them out of there, they're shot by an EMP cannon, which causes them to crash land at the base. As the Marines are about to break into the ship, Master Chief touches the alien artifact, which not only knocks out the power of the UNSC command center, but also brings the Pelican back online, allowing the Master Chief to fly it away. Master Chief and Kwan fuck back off into space, leaving the UNSC to believe that he has betrayed them, and Dr. Halsey is now super obsessed with the magical alien bullshit device. The end.
Magical alien bullshit device. I love it.
That's what it is.
Every show needs one of those.
That's what it is. Why they took it along with them is fucking beyond me. Okay, so I don't, like, on a writing perspective, like, leaving all my criticisms out of it, like, having them go through this whole, like, oh shit, we have to disable the autopilot on the ship, and they shoot it and they disable it and then they can get away, but then immediately get shot by an EMP and land anyway. Did that seem like to anybody else that was completely like just made up bullshit drama to fill some space?
Well, they shot it specifically after they lost control of the ship. So like they were like, okay, now that he has manual control, we need to take that ship down.
And they needed the magical device to
have something to do.
Yeah.
Well, the magical
bullshit.
The magical bullshit device is like the plot of the entire show.
Well, it's a Forerunner. Right. Yeah, it's Forerunner technology.
So, so I don't
the
have
magical
a huge issue
alien
with that.
device got first billing, and then Kwan Ha.
But it's interesting how the magical bullshit device knew how to supercharge the ship it was on and then shut down everything else.
Well, it was like an EMP blast, but yeah, it also like supercharged the ship.
It seems to have a relationship with Master Chief, so it knew
it's possible.
Well,
exactly what to do.
He's got magical ancient DNA.
Oh, no,
so when he can sit in the chair, everything works. And,
in sci-fi,
he's doing Stargate Atlantis.
Am I wrong?
No, you're not wrong. Not at all. The ancients, the Forerunners, same fucking thing.
Yeah.
Humans have a connection. Humans have a connection.
Yeah.
Same freaking thing. Yeah. No,
he's
always
special. He's got special DNA.
There's always an alien magic bullshit device. It's like it's the fucking Doctor Who's magic screwdriver. It's
like I got no problem with that, man.
Yeah.
Video game people don't have to make up original science fiction.
No, I don't care.
It's
that didn't bother me.
They didn't make the video game.
What bothered me
to make a TV show 30 years ago.
Oh, you want to hear something super nitpicky that pissed me off?
Yeah.
So the battle rifle, right? The one that they use in the first beginning of the part, it's got the scope on it, and they're freaking going at it. That weapon is a 3-shot weapon. It's a burst fire. It's always been a burst fire. It's not changeable. You can't do anything about that in the game. It's
use it, throw it away.
You use it, and then when you're done, if you can get ammo for it, cool. If not, whatever. But it's a very powerful weapon. It's very specifically built to do a certain thing. And then in this show, like multiple times, it's just on full automatic, and there's like flying away with it. I'm like, you've never played the freaking video games, have you? God damn it.
And also when they refer to their armor, I just keep wanting to call it meow meow armor.
Meow meow. Mjolnir. That's the thing. That's legit from the
So do we
lore
need to
stuff.
see stuff like from the games to make you happy? I mean,
No,
I've
no.
never played it, so I'm assuming it's very Doom or Quake like, and those kind of games where you're like going around, you shoot stuff, and you pick up your medical kit, and there's some bullets laying there, and there's a new gun laying there. And
As,
it's like, oh, tick, tick, tick,
like as a video game player, like when it came to that kind of thing, like the opening battle sequence, the sound effect of the shield regenerating, I was fine with all that. It's cool.
I want to see Master Chief like break into a room and like be a chest there, and him open the chest and like take out the med kit and
Sure,
make
why
himself.
not? Yeah, that's all fine. What my biggest worry about this is that they're taking all these different plot lines and they're swooshing them all into one season, and I'm like, that's too much, dude. You're biting off way more than you can chew.
Yeah, okay.
But anyway, that's it. That's my salt for this episode. You said you liked it?
Like I said, man, I like it, but I feel your pain.
Okay.
So I'm still in. I'm gonna keep watching.
Okay.
Just because it's cool sci-fi.
All right.
But,
Jude, did you enjoy the show?
I am so tickled that this is Foundation Revisited, but for you and not me.
I'm not going to bail out. I'm going to stick around for all 9 freaking torturous episodes.
Sure. Whatever you say, man.
Uh-huh.
I thought it was okay. I liked it more before I started talking to you guys about it. Now find myself picking it apart the same way.
Okay.
Especially now that I know a little bit more about the source material. And it really, I am a stickler for source material. I'm a purist. And changing things like that really irks me. So knowing that makes me really irritated with the show in general.
Okay.
I hate it when they throw in stuff like changing a family dynamic just for the sake of it. There's no reason for it. And that irks me for you.
Mm-hmm.
So I've got your back.
Cool.
Also, loving your salt.
Kadish, as my fellow Halo fan, what did you think about the show?
So again, I'm of two minds of this show. Like as just general science fiction, like it's a fun show. The opening battle scene was freaking great.
Yeah.
I loved it. I like the tension at the end of the episode where it's like, Master Chief is surrounded and he has to like deal with stuff. But there are certain things in this show that I just find unforgivable, like showing Master Chief's face, and the kind of contrived Leon style storyline that they're following. Because to me, like I would have liked to have seen like them do what James Cameron did with Aliens, where like our humans that we're attached to are just a group of Marines. They get stranded on a halo, and Master Chief is like this mysterious figure that takes command, and they're not sure whether or not they should trust him because they've never dealt with a Spartan before, but like he leads them in a fight against impossible odds in a very brutal alien race. And, the fact that they didn't introduce the halo or anything like that in the first episode, I thought was kind of odd. But overall, like I can see what they're doing. I don't necessarily agree with it, but I'm kind of trying to keep an open mind and allow myself to try to enjoy the show. Because like I said, I watched this show like 5 different times this episode, and I still can't decide whether or not I actually liked it. So I'm hoping that I've heard, so like Angry Joe did a review of the second episode because the critics got, the 2 episodes, and he said that episode 2 is really bad.
Oh no.
Oh my God, Alex.
Yeah, he said it's kind of like a bottle episode, like a filler episode.
Already?
Yeah, already.
Is it Quan cucking Master Chief?
Probably, I don't know, but so like I'm not
Quan gets to wear the helmet.
I'm not looking forward to the second episode, but I'm willing to give it like a season to impress me. Like I want to see what they do over the course of the season.
I think they've.
Oh, Master Chief, will you just rub my feet already? God.
All right, my absolute last thoughts.
Master Chief's like, keep Quan's name out of your mouth.
Quan.
Oh my God.
I think they have bitten off more than they can chew. I do not have faith that these writers are skilled enough to take all the plot lines that they introduced in this first episode and have meaningful, satisfactory endings to them within 9 episodes. I think they've really messed up with throwing everything at you in the first episode.
Also, it's going to be interesting to see what the second half of the season is like because they shot 5 episodes before COVID shut them down.
Yeah.
So like the episodes 6 through 9 are very different in terms of like how they produce the show. So it'll be interesting to see like what happens there.
All right. Well, we'll find out. So stay tuned, subscribe if you're not already. We're going to be reviewing every single episode of this show. We're going to get out of here now. So Jude, where can they find you on the socials?
You can find me at I am Jude Juju on Instagram and on TikTok.
Right on. And Matthew Kadish, where can they find you at?
You can find me at Matthew Kadish, Kadish on Twitter. KadishBooks.com takes you to my Amazon page. And if you'd be so kind as to go to saltynerd.com/rate, R-A-T-E, that'll allow you to find us on Apple Podcasts, where you can leave us a 5-star rating. We're trying to get 200 of those suckers in order to basically get accredited as actual movie reviewers on Rotten Tomatoes. And you don't need to leave us a review or anything crazy like that. Just hit those 5 stars, leave us a rating, and the sooner we get 200 of those, the better.
Right on.
Yeah.
All right, guys. I wanted to mention real quick, we have a Halo TV show chat in our Discord app, which has been lit up on fire lately. We're having a ton of fun talking about the show, reminiscing. We were even talking about video games and Red versus Blue and all kinds of really cool Halo stuff. So head over to saltynerddiscord.com. You will catch me in the Halo chat talking about this show, talking about what I hate, talking about what I like. Yeah. Go to saltynerddiscord.com and head over to the Halo chat and come talk about this show with me. Vader, where can they find you?
I'm sorry. You can find me at MattVader74 on Twitter, Twitch, YouTube. Twitch? Did I say Twitch?
You did say Twitch.
I haven't been on Twitch in a long time, but I'll be there someday. Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, the things.
Cool.
Yeah, all over. Facebook. Saturday mornings here with Matt and friends talking about Star Trek. And yeah, that's it, man.
All right, everybody.
Let's get the Halo out of here.
Yeah. Have a killtacular day. We'll talk to you later.